Hello, World of Tanks Blitzers, it's Littlefinger. Hey, gonna be doing a full tank review here on the VK4502B. This is a heavily armored German heavy tank. Great for side scraping, great for getting in the face of other opponents and just dominating them. So let's take a look here on the tech tree, and you're going to be coming up through the VK31P, the Tiger P, VK4502A, 4502B, and the VK7201K. And these three tanks here just recently received a new consumable. So let's go ahead and talk about that. The way I've got this set up now is with a big multi-purpose restoration pack. No longer carrying the double pack. We are running tungsten rounds instead, which, as you can see here, give you 105 to 125 damage per shot, and you can typically get 2 shots off per time you activate the tungsten shells. And then I'm running adrenaline just to make sure that sometimes I coincide those together to make sure that we can aim in and get full credit for those tungsten shells. Also, we've got some additional provisions. We've got enhanced sandbag armor. It's going to give us 138 additional hit points. You can see I'm running chocolate just because of the variety of improvements it gives you. I think that this is the biggest bang for the buck, really. I could see an argument not running improved gunpowder, which gives you a 35% increase to shell velocity, perhaps going with either improved fuel or some additional hit points. So that really is, I think, your third choice is one of these three. Ammo, 21, 9, and 6. Now, equipment, a lot of choices I feel with this tank. Let's just run through it. I'm running calibrated shells in order to get that pen number up. We are facing tier 10s quite frequently. That's E100s and Jagaroos and the like. So we want to make sure that we have good pen value on there. I am running defense system, improved optics, enhanced gun laying drive. Again, you're pretty much going to be a frontline tank in playing playstyle here, so aim time isn't a huge factor. I could certainly see the switching over to supercharge if you prefer that kind of play style. Again, another probably a place where you could pick or choose here. I run enhanced armor. Anytime I have really good armor, I run enhanced armor because I'm getting 4% of a really high number, which is making this tank near impenetrable. Yeah, you could run with an additional 138 hit points. That's going to put you at 2,576 hit points for a tier 9 heavy tank. Engine accelerator, refined gun. Again, a tank you're playing depends on your playstyle. You can certainly see vertical stabilizer over a refined gun, toolbox, and consumable delivery system. All right, guys, here's blitzstars.com. We're going to be comparing the VK4502 to some of the other closely related tanks. 2102 is our base damage per minute number. Our pen 246 is on the low side, which is why I like to run the calibrated shells. 460 average damage is on the high side, which is great considering how much armor we have in this tank. 128 millimeter with 920 shell velocity, all very good as we would expect with a German heavy gun handling. You can see very similar statistics here to the E75. You know, all of these guns are very, very similar at this tier. Where we start getting into some difference is the movement and mobility here. We see we are only 30 kilometers per hour. This is one of the slowest heavy tanks, which you would expect due to our armor. Now, one thing I do like about it is your effective horsepower per ton rate here of 10.7, so it's going to accelerate better than the E75 or the ST1. But again, it is rather slow, so keep that in mind. And as we scroll on down, the other big area to look at here is this 265 turret armor, 208 hull armor. A lot of red over here, guys, and that's what this tank looks like on World of Tank Inspector. Armor Inspector is what you might call it. This is a great website for checking this stuff out. All right, so yeah, you can see this is, I mean, we'll pick any tank you want to look at as far as a shooter. How about a Malshin? All right, fine. So as we back up from the tank, you'll notice here that the lower plate is definitely going to be green. If you over angle this tank, or if you turn your turret too much, those are your weak spots, right? Now, if we come on in like we're face hugging a tank, and our eyesight right now is at the turret of your opposing tank, look what they see. This is a very difficult to pen in this position right here. So this is what I'm saying. Face hugging as well as side scraping this thing. Look at this. Coming off of a corner of a building here, you know, you're putting yourself in that position right there. It's a tough sight. So it does change my play style, especially on different maps with this tank. I like to try to make sure I'm going into towns, try to avoid hills, and try to use hard cover so that we can hide this lower plate. And if you do that, this tank can be really, really effective. I mean, you know, we're talking, what is this? 320 effective armor here, 269, 405, 718. Those are some huge numbers. So keep that in mind as you play this tank. It really helps to understand how your armor works. All right, guys, here is the first game. And yeah, so we've got the option here to go into town. And I know most of the time on this map, town is not usually played. And I'm looking at it, they've got one heavy. They've got 3 TDs. I'm feeling pretty confident that I can run into town here and at least hold my own. I have some support here. We've got the TVP coming in with me, and I believe it's a Ho-Ri behind me. And I know that this tank is so much more effective side hugging buildings. And here comes that Ho-Ri. So we've got 3 of us in town now. Do want you to keep an eye on this medium tank here, who just sits here this entire game. Probably way too long. And so now we've got into a situation where the Ho-Ri and I have both pushed up into C. We've got 3 spotted already. Our medium is still sitting here. And the Ho-Ri is getting, poor guy, he is just getting trounced at the moment. We've got T-54, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is now at least 5 tanks on this side. And that is the downside. Now I'm getting sniped from across A. So the Ho-Ri's down. I've been aggressive. I've spotted, or the Ho-Ri and I have spotted their whole team. The TVP is making an exit, and I don't blame him. Their entire team is on this side. The fact that our team sat in cap and didn't push those guys out of A, and this medium sat here while, you know, the 2 of us went down, was the reason that we ended up losing this game. And when you make a decision to go into town like that, yeah, and you don't have the full support of your team, that is what can happen. But regardless of that fact, you know, that's the way I play this tank. And it has worked out fairly well. And me and the Ho-Ri were the first ones to die. And these were the guys over there that just didn't push. The TVP had a good game. But that is the danger, obviously, of being a little bit too aggressive there in that circumstance. But let's go ahead and play another game in the same map and see how different this ends up. We've got a T-95 with us. 3 heavies on 3 heavies. So much more likely that we can take and hold C-cap and be effective in town. And I feel like this is a map, yeah, where, you know, one team has to get A, the other team has to get B. Whether or not your team all pushes A or B together, sometimes there's a fight at C, sometimes there's not. But a tank like this, with a rear-mounted turret, 8 degrees of gun depression, it just doesn't play well on hills. So look for ways to take advantage of your tank's strengths, right? As we'll come on in here, and again, push into basically the exact same location we were last game. But now we've got a Conqueror not looking, and we can just come up here to the corner of the building, and this guy is not going to be able to pen me there. We're pulled out a little bit too far. The M103 caught the front of the tank, but I was being lazy and trying to get a shot in on the tortoise there. Now this is, to me, the downside here of only having 1 repair kit. You have to be really strategic about when you use it. I am so much more comfortable. I saw the Tiger 2 shoot, so we can pull forward. We get a max roll there, and for whatever reason, I just lost the fact that I have left it on APCR, which kind of just lost out on some hit points, really. So we're able just to bully our way. We do drop the tungsten shells, and the reason for that is I feel confident here that I'm going to be able to get 2 shots and maximize that tungsten shell. And we have just basically, you know, pushed through the town, blocking 1,200 damage already. And that's about the time I think I realized, why the heck am I still on APCR? So you see here that, you know, for a heavy tank, yeah, there's a lot of heavies out there. The IS-8 in front of me, you see him accelerating away. A lot of faster tanks. As it is now 4 on 3. Chimera and Object 84 remain. 3,000 damage, 1,200 blocked. And the pain of a slow tank driving up the hill here. Was hoping to get a shot. Nope, we're just not fast enough. Yeah. Why you're hiding in the back of the map and then YOLO into 2 tanks? I just don't understand. And here I am thinking, you know, I'm going to use the tungsten shells and HE and get the backside of this tank, and the shot goes into the tracks. Unfortunate there. The meal is cresting the hill. Can I get one more shot in? We do. I'm thinking, oh, he bounced. I was thinking that he was trying to steal that kill. But anyway, you know, that to me is the routine battle in the VK. Now, there's one other thing I do want to talk about, the tungsten shells, and we'll show that in the next game here. Alright guys, here we are on Naval Frontier. We are bottom tier. This is a rather quick game. And again, you know, so here's the decision at the beginning of the game. I don't really want to go on the left side. There's just too many hills for me to feel comfortable there. I know that I can stay here in the mid, and we snap that shot in, and I can just peek over this rock and hide that lower plate, and you know, provided that there's shots for me to take, I can be effective over here. You can see I'm taking a look there, see what's going on. They've got 2 tanks down there already. Grill's pushing through. Should have been ready to take my shot. Now we're just waiting for him to come back behind the rock, and yeah, he's going to take some big damage. They are pushing hard around the corner there. Now, what I want to talk to you about tungsten shells is that they do more damage and therefore more likely to cause damage to ammo racks. So the more that you shoot the tungsten shells, the more likely you are to get an ammo rack. As you can see, this game just felt a little bit more lopsided. We've got all of our hit points. We're going to drop the tungsten shell here into the side of the turret 540. Back up. He's going to actually get a shot into us and set us on fire. But we're going to return that favor here with a 2,000 damage ammo rack. And that's what I love about tungsten shells, and you know, why you must carry them on these German heavies. So yeah, just like that, it's a 4,000 damage game because of one shot. And that, you know, that's just wonderful. Gotta love that. Lucky, yes, but it is now a mechanic of this tank. Alright guys, so here's the last battle. This is Molendyke, and yes, you guessed it, I'm going to go into town and we're going to get some real side scraping in, and we'll show you how this tank performs in that situation. So we should be able to fast forward it here, get ourselves into town. So you got a nice pile of rocks here to hide in that first set of shots, and now we're pulling out in front of the VK45.02A. Now let's turn and hide that lower plate. We can angle off the corner of this building, and you'll see guys that'll look at us and they'll decide not to even shoot. Kind of just buying our time at the moment. There we go. There's no way you're penning that shot. Lets me just pull out, get my shot into the VK, and then pull back, and then get to safety. I don't think that VK was aiming at me, to be honest with you. I feel like we need to start pushing here, angling up to this guy. There we go. There's another bounce. And this is the downside. We'll see here. I wanted to try to get shots into the rear of the T-54E2, but just too mobile for me here. Hiding behind this building, making it difficult to get the shot off and get the kill. So we're up 3-1 here. 2,800 damage done already. Doesn't look like a lot of hit points left. As a tank, you know, it's slow. But, like I said, it makes up for it with the armor. We've got 2,000 hit points left. You know, we can expend them here. It's the E75. I don't know what he's been doing all game. But we'll get down here, get one shot into him, a nice 470. And then we're just too slow to get to the Conway. There's no way we're going to get there. But, you know, that to me is this tank in a nutshell. Get yourself into a nice hold down or side scraping position. Use that armor effectively. Maximize the damage you can, because at the end of the game, you're just going to be too slow to get in there to do much. But it is a wonderful tank. We finished there with 3,700 damage. Just wanted to see where we're at with it. 82% win rate, 48 battles, 2,135 damage. So I think that this tank is very strong and quite often underrated on the battlefield. It is a very difficult tank to face when someone knows how to maximize that armor. So hopefully you got some ideas out of this video and can put it all together on the battlefield. And of course, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.